Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to show wire wrapping a faceted sunstone. Sunstones are so beautiful. They have all sorts of red and orange glitters in them, sometimes yellows and pinks, and this one is really beautiful. I hope you enjoy it. The focus on today's piece is the manufacturing of the bail. Now, since we're going to be showing the bail specifically, we don't want to have the video too long, so I've fast forwarded through the vast majority of the manufacturing of the piece. If you guys want to see more specific things, please leave comments below and we will make future videos specific to those items as well. I hope you all enjoy. Making this bail is an 11-step process. The first step is we're going to take the pliers and bend the bail wires backwards away from the front of the piece at just a slight angle, not too much. Then we're going to take the top part of the wire and we're going to bend it all the way back like a wonky shaped U. Now that's the first 3 steps, 1 being the initial bend, 2 being the second bend, and the 3rd being all the way to make the U. Now we're going to switch pliers to our small chain nose pliers, and we're going to wedge them up as far as we can in here, and then fold that end of the wire back towards the piece as hard as we can. Step 5. We slide our small chain nose pliers down to about the same height as that first bend, and we're going to bend it away from the front of the piece, as you see. Now we move our pliers back up, and we're going to bend the entire bottom half until it is parallel with the back of the piece. And we want to get it as close as we can to the back of the piece here. Now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup and get our half-round wires right in the exact place we want them to be. We're going to also remove our temporary half-round wrapping that we did that's holding the top of the piece together. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it's not necessarily a part of every piece you're going to do. It's just how this piece kind of ended up. And you should still be able to see everything as I do it. I won't speed it up too fast. Now, as you can see that those 2 wires are not quite parallel down there at the base. So what we're going to do is kind of re-go through steps 2, 3, 4 to get it back down so those 2 wires are perfectly parallel next to each other, and then we will move on with the next step. Now step 6 is wrapping that half-round wire around to hold the whole piece together, and this is going to be the final wrap at the top of the piece, and this will be holding the entire piece together. So you want to make sure and get this extremely tight, and you want to make it look good and nice, and you got to pull really hard on these pliers to do that. Sometimes you'll slip the wire out and all sorts of stuff. see those bail wires are a little long and they're causing some problems. So let's just cut those off about halfway through and leave ourselves plenty of room to finish up the piece. Much better. Now those two sets of bail wires are laying really nice and flat next to each other. That'll really make the piece look nice if it's all tightly together. Now our half round wire ended up being a little bit short for this project, so we're gonna have to add in an extra piece. And normally if you have your half round wire long enough in the beginning, you do not need to do this, but it happens, so you'll just get to watch me add in a piece. Just a little extra commentary here. This, I would say, is one of the most important parts of holding the entire piece together. This half round wire at the top is what holds the basket closed, which then is holding your prongs in place, which holds your stone in place. And if your stone falls out, you don't have a piece of jewelry. So this is, I would say, the most important. So you want to make sure and get this done right. You need to do it very tightly. And as you can notice how much time I've spent on this alone, you can tell how important I feel this is. So the process to add in an extra piece of this half round wire is you're going to start by laying it on top, bending it over your piece, and making a J shape. And then you might want to flatten out the curvy part of the J. I don't know how else to explain that, and I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense. And then hook it back onto your piece, and then crimp it down as tight as you can, and continue to wrap it all the way around till you get to where it's as high as you would like. It's really important to make sure you get these wires wrapped as tight as you can, especially when you're adding in a second piece that is not tied to the rest of the bottom of the piece. So you want to just really be careful and make sure you get it really, really tight, and every wrap matters. Now in step 7, we are going to split our other wires into the two groups. The wires that come from the right get bent to the right. The wires that come from the left get bent to the left. It's really easy to get the wrong wire on the wrong side, and if you do, it's going to look funny. So you got to be real careful when you're splitting it, but once you get it down and get them separated, it's really easy. And then we're just going to bend them over, cut them to the flush level where they end up looking really good and even and the same size on both sides. Now that these wires are out of the way, we can use our chain nose pliers to adjust the bail up so it's back in the center. We want the chain to run through the bail, through the center of the piece so it hangs correctly. We don't want it to hang too far back or too far forward and look funny. So we bend the whole bail forward, which is going to slide the back of the wires up. And if you weren't careful in the beginning, there can be some marring that happens there that you'll have to polish on later. At this point, there's a lot of little fine tuning that I go through here to make sure the bail sits exactly how I like it to be. Now, anybody can do as much fiddling as they want at this point, so I just like to have a nice, narrow, good-looking bail at the top, so that's why I spend so much time fiddling right here. We're going to just cut off this excess wire. You can do this one at a time, or you can cut them all at once. Sometimes cutting them all at once is extremely difficult, especially if your pliers aren't super, or your cutters aren't super sharp. I suggest doing this in sections, like do one cut, then do a little closer and a little closer, so you make sure you can get it to lay exactly like you want it to. Step 10 is separating the two bail wires and making them even so they look really nice. And this is very easy. You just shove your chain nose pliers down in between and grab them and spread them apart. 11 and the finished process of the bail, you reach back there with your flush cutters and cut those bail wires off as flush as you can to the bottom, and making the bail is finished. Just got to set the stone and we are done. Thank you guys all for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it very much. Remember, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and we're going to be doing more of these videos in the future. So again, I hope you enjoyed, and just watch the last little bit of this stone get put together.